Hi and welcome to Your World. I'm Dia Fadila and let's begin our first segment of Your World. Before we take you through a variety of stories, let us begin in our first segment with G7 countries praise Indonesia for a successful ASEAN summit, and also from President Joko Widodo stated that Indonesia is ready to broker the Ukraine-Russia peace efforts.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Retno Marsudi, said in a press conference on Sunday that Indonesia has received a
tribute according to their respective capacities in dealing with the
Our next segment consists of stories from home, Indonesia, where Gambang Kromong always exists in Jakarta, and also FIBA Basketball World Cup launches Revamp My Court program at Lapangan Banteng, Jakarta.
Monas, one of the famous landmarks in the capital city of Jakarta, has recently seen the 2023 Lebaran Betawi as a special celebration featuring Gambang Kromong, the traditional musical orchestra of Betawi people. During the 2023 Lebaran Betawi Festival last weekend, the public square at the iconic Monas Monument became more crowded, as visitors had the opportunity to enjoy the show of traditional Betawi music, Gambang Kromong. Gambang Kromong is a traditional orchestra which blends ethnical gamelan ensemble, Western music, and Chinese-style pentatonic bass tones. Event coordinator Ahmad Supandi said most of the audience are enthusiastic to enjoy the performance and amazed that Gambang Kromong music still exists in Jakarta until now, despite the globalization of modern music. Ahmad added after the Lebaran Betawi celebration this year, the traditional music groups will remain exist in the midst of relentless expansion of modern music, so they can introduce the Betawi music to the younger generation. Ahmad also underlined that Gambang Kromong music will never be extinct in Jakarta.
In the opening ceremony of art exhibition titled Ghost Nets Awakening of the Drifting Giants at the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Arts of Nusantara or Museum Macan, Jakarta on Friday, May 19th, artist Jimmy John Thede said creating artworks from fishing net waste was not as challenging as protecting marine life. He posited and protecting environment from human damaging behavior is the biggest challenge and everyone should play their part to tackle the issue.
This the basic challenges is to maintain the sea life, and the sea life is very important to our, because we also are sea person and sea so we live in the sea, so that's why we're trying to maintain, and the rangers also maintain the seaweed, so we have a good life in the reef, so that way our generation can enjoy the life when they get up. Because we also have culture like hunting ceremony and shaving. Yeah. That's what we're trying to balance, trying to balance everything in the water. Yeah.
Europe Art is a group of artists from Torres Strait Island in Australia, try to maintain a strong European identity by promoting their culture through contemporary art. They are showcasing 18 artworks made from ghost nets in art exhibition at the Museum Macan, which runs through 4th of June. Jimmy said the artworks are made by Europe Arts have a deep meaning and also have their own story. Jimmy hoped every visitor could enjoy the artworks and, more importantly, learn how to protect the ocean, starting from simple things.
Erup Arts, a group of artists from Australia Torres Strait Island, held an exhibition called Ghost Nets, Awakening the Drifting Giants for the first time at Museum Macan, Jakarta. Also in effort of sea conservation, sea leftover fishing nets or ghost nets turned into unique and also amazing artworks. Let's have a look.
The art exhibition is showcasing 18 woven works made from ghost nets. The woven works, which were made by artist group from Torres Strait Island, Australia, called Asiavision Arts. The Australian ambassador to Indonesia, Penny William PSM, said apart from the art exhibition, they also organize workshop and group discussion on environmental issue.
I think this is the very first step. We also are taking the exhibition to Bali, so the exhibition will be shown there and also some workshops. I think that's why it's been so important to have not just the exhibition, but have the workshop, particularly with younger people, and to also have artist discussions. So it's the first step in having these kind of transfers of information. But the exhibition in Bali will also reach, it's obviously a very strong maritime art and culture there.
Meanwhile, the Macan Museum director, Aaron Seto, said the museum welcomed this collaboration with the Australian Embassy in an attempt to raise public awareness on environmental issues through artworks. Asiavision Arts is showcasing 18 artworks made by artists from Torres Strait Island, Australia, namely Lavinia Ketchell, Jimmy John Tay and Pauline Laurie Williams at the Macan Museum.
The FIBA Basketball World Cup Local Committee or LOC launches the Revamp My Court program in Central Jakarta, Indonesia. Revamp My Court is a revitalization program for basketball courts located in host cities. The program is meant to leave a legacy from the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023. LOC Chairman for FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 Budi Satrio Jiwandono says, Lapangan Banteng is selected due to its iconic courts with historical values. This official event is being conducted as part of a series of pre-events ahead of the first ever FIBA Basketball World Cup, co-hosted by 3 countries, Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines. This event will take place on 25th August to 10th September 2023. Now we will travel to Vietnam to see how Ho Chi Minh City authorities seek ways to support migrant workers, and also how Son La Province controls the ripening process of fruits. Also, we will see the handmade jewelry exhibition in Turkmenistan.
About 50% of all businesses in Ho Chi Minh City are facing difficulties in operating at reduced capacity, according to statistics from the Ho Chi Minh City Union of Business Association. As a result, migrant workers are struggling to survive in the city, with many having been laid off and seeking new jobs. Authorities have made all-out efforts to provide workers with timely support and help businesses return their workforces amid difficulties. A migrant worker, Chao Van Chong, said when he worked at Ho Yen, Vietnam, he could earn nearly $430 a month. Since he was laid off, he has been doing a new job and earning only $213 per month, which is much lower than he expected. Many businesses are facing financial challenges and operating at reduced capacity. As such, workers have fewer working hours and can't work overtime to earn extra money. In addition, authorities have implemented a price stabilization program to help workers afford their living expenses. Children of workers have been provided with scholarship or financial support so they can continue their learning at school.
Difficulties related to pricing and planning are a common problem that Longan and lychee farmers in Sonla and Hungnian provinces faced every year. To deal with this, a number of new farming methods have been applied, some of which have proven effective. An application to control the ripening process of fruits is one of those methods. There are about 3 months left until the harvest, but these batches of longans are all ready to be exported to the European market. This is the 4th time in a row that this longan garden has achieved early harvest. The owner has made a huge effort to take care of these trees. To change the harvest schedule, Sonla Province deployed the T6 longan grafting of the Central Fruit and Vegetable Research Institute 5 years ago. The new variety of longan can be harvested early. Currently in Songma district, there are nearly 1,000 hectares where early harvested longans are grown, with a target of consuming more than 100,000 tons of longans during the season and fierce competition with other longan production localities. Controlling the ripening process of fruits has helped Sonla Province reach 20% of its set target. The province's products are now on their way to the EU market, affirming the success of this innovation. In Quy Nhon City, Binh Dinh Province, there is a recycling center where people with disabilities gather to create works of art using recycled materials. Established by a woman who devoted her life to taking care of disabled people over the past 30 years, the recycling center began operating during the difficulties of the COVID-19 pandemic. Since then, local people with disability have contributed to raising public awareness about the importance of protecting the environment through their recycled art. Although far from the city center, the place is always busy with visitors during the weekend.
The opening ceremony of 2-story modern residential buildings was held in the Choganli residential complex of Bakhtiarlik Atrap of Ashgabat. During the celebration, accompanied by musical and song performances, the family members of the happy new settlers were given the keys to new apartments in a solemn atmosphere. Then the builders who distinguished themselves in the construction of new houses were presented with gifts on behalf of the respected president. Then the participants of the ceremony got acquainted with the layout of the new houses and the conditions created in them. Happy new settlers expressed sincere gratitude to the head of state for the conditions created. A unique exhibition of handmade jewelry by Georgian craftsman Minan Kari has opened in Ashgabat. The exhibition is organized by the Embassy of Georgia in Ashgabat with the support of the Ministry of Culture of Turkmenistan. Minankari is an ancient Georgian technique of creating jewelry using natural enamel. The exhibition featured works by Georgian masters such as Tamara Japarich, Maya Jivchij, Maiko Magalashvili, Sophie Etsadashvili, and others. The exhibition is shown at the Museum of Fine Art of Turkmenistan. Minankari is an ancient jewelry art known to craftsmen who still lived before our era. In the technique of this jewelry art, amazingly beautiful jewelry is created from enamel, a colored vitreous powder, and the finest gold, silver, or copper partitions. Cloisonne enamel is a unique art. Georgia has a long tradition. Decorations using a special Georgian enamel technique have been made since the 9th century, which came from Byzantium. Space Out Competition, a contest in which contestants take a break and just do nothing, was held in Seoul on May 21st. More than 3,000 teams applied for this year's participation. People stare into nothing, their eyes unfocused and faces blank. Blinking is the only reaction they show to the strong winds blowing in their faces. But doing nothing isn't as easy as it looks. Some people drink water to chase away the drowsiness, and some even lie down.
China's first deep-sea floating wind power platform was put into operation on Saturday to generate green energy for the operation and production of offshore oil fields. The platform, built by the China National Offshore Oil Corporation and named as Sinok Guanlan, has been installed in an offshore oil field located 136 kilometers from Wenchang City of the southern island province of Hainan, where strong winds and big ocean waves posed a huge challenge to the design of the wind power platform. With an installed capacity of 2.11 megawatts, the platform has been connected to the power grid of Wenchang offshore oil field group via a 5-kilometer-long dynamic submarine cable, and all the electricity generated by the turbines will be used for oil and gas production. With an annual power generation capacity of 22 million kilowatt hours, the platform can save nearly 10 million cubic meters of natural gas every year.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Your World. I'm Dia Fadila. Thanks for watching and see you next week.